Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys, I'm going to be profiling for you guys a deck that I have enjoyed thoroughly playing over the last couple of weeks. And that deck today, guys, is For Hire. Yes, For Hire. Now, funny story before I get into this video. If you guys are old subscribers of this channel, you know the history behind this probably. I have been petitioning Konami for probably the last 10 years and hoping and praying that Konami would release a pirate archetype into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I was hoping that it would be based semi on historical pirates of the past, such as Blackbeard, Calico Jack, people of that nature, or even mythical, like figuratively speaking, pirates like Captain Flint from Treasure Island. Things like that. That is what I was hoping for. Instead, I got furries that are pirates. Am I going to complain about it? No, because it's a pirate archetype nonetheless, and I've been waiting for it to do this deck profile for literally forever. So, I don't care about the name. I don't care about anything about it. I don't care if they're animals. They're freaking pirates. I'm happy. I'm content. So without further ado, let us get into the deck profile. So first off, we'll go with your sort of Strato searcher of the deck, which is 3 Beat Bladesman for Hire. He's kind of your searcher for the deck. That's what he mainly focuses on. And he is the most expensive card in the deck currently. At the time of me making this video, he's about, he's a little bit about around $15, I think. Granted, he'll probably go down in price eventually, but apparently he was short printed in the recent set. So that's the reason why he is so expensive. But besides him and one other card in the deck is super cheap to build. But 3 Beat in the deck, he's your searcher for the deck. And he's actually my favorite. He's the cutest. Next we have 3 Strategist Seal. Now, Strategist, some people like him as a 2-of, and I understand why. But I like him for his recursion. Able to add things back from the graveyard back to my hand. I've enjoyed that thoroughly in the deck. Playing the deck, so I like him as a 3-of. You could run him as a 2-of if you wanted to. I'm not running all the For Hires. I'm running the ones that have been working the best for me. But if you wanted to cut some of the ratios down to run other things, go right ahead and do so. But 3 Strategist has been working for me the best. For Helmsman, which he looks like he doesn't like his job for some reason, but Helmsman here, he is nice to have a little draw engine in the deck, which is the nice thing to have with him. You can run 2 of them. I've tried it, but at the end of the day, I decided to run 3 of him. I kind of wish he was a level 2 so I could run like Totally Awesome in the deck just because, but alas, he is not. He's a level 3. So I'm not going to complain about it, but definitely run him as a 2-of, if not a 3-of, like I'm running. Now let's just go over the other ones that I run as 2-of. So 2 Dampa, and we run 2 Recon, as well as we run 2 Bravo as well. So these are the little guys, I call them. You have the big ones like your Raphael, I call them, and your Wiz and your other cards, and then you have your small little guys, your small little For Hires, which are the ones I'm showing you right now, like Beat and Strategist and Helmsman and Bravo and Recon and Dampa. So these ones here I like running as a 2-of. They're good to have in the deck, but I feel personally from playing the deck like Strategist and Helmsman are a little bit better for the deck than these. So you can run them as any ratio you want, but 2 of each is what I like in the deck. You can play around with it to see how you prefer it, but that's what I've been finding works best for me. You could run 3 Bravo. It's something I've tried out in the deck, but I'm kind of He's still good though. Now for your bigger For Hires, we run 2 Wiz in the deck. Now Wiz is a really good card to have in some instances. I've seen people run it as a 1-of. I've seen people run it as a 3-of. Every deck profile that I've looked at For Hires runs different ratios of everything. I don't think right now, as even I'm doing this deck profile at the moment from playing it, that we have a lockdown, this is the best way to build For Hires yet. We don't have a deck profile, you know, like a full, like, this is the way you run the deck, this is the best version of the deck. It's still up for debate because the deck is sort of fairly new and people are still playing around with it, trying to find what's the best ratio, and they're play testing and things of that nature. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like if you're looking up different deck profiles of this deck, each one of them is a little bit different in itself. But Wiz, I prefer as a 2 of. And then for your other one, which hands down you run as a 3 of on the deck, Raphael. He is kind of your boss monster, quote unquote, of the deck. You run 3 of him. He's essential to the deck. He's a very good beat stick. He's a good, easy card to get out. And overall, he's a good card. So you definitely run 3 of him. There are some of the other ones that you can run, like the Tiger, and then there's another one, I think, like I forget what it is, that burns your opponent for 500. You can run those if you want to, but these are the main essential big ones that I find that I'm mainly going into and mainly using. The other one that banishes cards from your opponent's graveyard, that's good, but only as good as your matchup, really. While these are generically a little bit better overall. So that's just my thoughts from playing the deck. For your hand traps, we run 2 Ash, double Ogre. You could run, and I do run it in the side deck if I go against Gokis and whatnot. If you want to run Haunted Mansion, or Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion, you could easily get into the side deck. And if you want to run Drill and Lock instead of running Ghost Ogres or Ghost Ashes, go right ahead and do that. It's up to you to decide the hand traps you want to run. Which ones do you want to run in your main deck? Which ones do you want to run in your side deck? It's up to you right now, especially with this format going around. A lot of people like main decking Drill and Lock because of Brandish, aka Sky Strikers. And then there's a lot of people out there that prefer like running just Ghost Girl and Haunted Mansion in the main deck because it's good against Gokis and other things. But it's up to you to decide how you want to run it. Me personally, this just hits a more wider variety of decks at the moment for me. Ghost Ash hits everything. Ghost Ogre usually is very good to have in hand. But depending upon my matchup, I'll side deck them in or out accordingly. The next expensive card of the deck, which is about 10, 12 bucks right now at the moment, is Mayhem for Hire, which is a very good card. And I'm going to read this card to you. The fact that it's a quick play spell makes it really that much better. But if you guys don't know what the card does, target 1 monster for hire in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. You only can activate 1 Mayhem per hire per turn. That's the nice thing about this deck. It can easily recur a lot of stuff from grave, which is one of the ways you can get your effects off of your monsters to just go off and spam the board. So that's one of the nice things about the deck. It can do fairly well, especially now that we have Monster Reborn back. So we have Monster Reborn, we have Soul Charge now, we have Mayhem for Hire, we have other ways. We have a decent amount of ways to recur things from grave to go off. So 3 Mayhem for Hire, definitely a staple in the deck, I would say. Next up, I run a little bit of a Link engine in the deck. 2 Scapegoat. You could run other cards that work with the Link combo in the deck because the deck can easily link up into other things like go into Soja, Borreload, Firewall Dragon, Griffin, Unicorn, Nightmare cards. The deck can do a bunch of different things. It just depends how you're building the deck. Me, personally, from playtesting the deck, I like double Scapegoat. I don't like triple. The reason I've always said that, and even though I'm running 1 Desires, I understand. But the reason I don't like triple Scapegoat is if you draw 2 Scapegoat in your opening hand, it can get kind of bricky. It's a great thing to have, but you always, the same thing you want to do in Goat format, you got to set the Scapegoat, then you got to activate it on your opponent's in phase, get all your tokens, and then you go off on your turn. That's the most optimal way to run Scapegoat. And yes, you can run 3 if you want to see it more often, but it can get very cloggy in your hand at some aspects. Yeah, it can mean you can go off again with your, your Link monsters, but that's another turn you're waiting to go off again. So you got your yin and your yang, with running Scapegoat in the deck. It's a great card, but sometimes it can be that hindrance because it takes that little bit more extra turn to set up. We got our one Rhoda, Reinforcements to the Army. I'm hoping Rhoda goes back to 3 of. If it goes back to 3 of, this deck is going to become a lot better. 1 Desires and 1 Upstart Goblin. This is kind of your draw search engine of the deck that's generic. You don't have to run Desires, but I like it in the deck. I run a lot of 3 ofs. It's nice to have. You only want to run 1 of because you don't want to go double Desires with this deck, period. Because it can mean you banish too much stuff. I've even considered taking it out because in this build, you really rely on the swarm tactics and going into your deck and doing things for that matter. So, you could run it or not run it. I prefer running it. It's paid off. And definitely the 1 Upstart Goblin in this deck, period, because you need extra draw power in the deck to some extent. But the Desires is debatable. Some of your other 1-ofs we run is your 1 Soul Charge, your 1 Monster Reborn, and your 1 Regeki in the deck. Regeki, good card, you can side it in or out. Same thing with Upstart Goblin, you can side this in or out depending upon your matchup. Monster Reborn and Soul Charge are staples in this deck. Recursion is nice to have. I am trying out this one card, which is Training for Hire for all your training needs. I've been running this as a 1-of in the deck. I've been testing it out. Do I like it? Yeah. Is it a little bit slow and I wish it was a continuous spell? Yeah. But I'm not going to complain. It's actually a pretty good card to have as a 1-of in the deck. I'm testing it out currently. I may take it in or out accordingly. You could replace this with something else. There are other cards out there you could use if you want to run more goats, like I forget the Link card. If you have a code Link monster, you can reborn a monster from grave. I forget what that card name is. I think it's World Chalice Legacy Succession. I believe it's the card name, something like that. You could run that in the deck too if you want to run more scapegoats. But it kind of got bricky sometimes, you know. So that's why I took that out. But I tried this instead, and I actually liked it. It's come in handy a couple times. And then I run just a basic Solemn Warning package. So 2 Solemn Strike, 1 Solemn Judgment, and 1 Solemn Warning. Now you may be saying, Seto, the Upstart Goblin, the Solemn Warning, what happens if I go into time in Game 3? Hey, if you know you're going into time, going into Game 3, you know what you do? You take these things out, and the Upstart Goblin, and you replace them with other things that are good against your matchup. But just going blind into Game 1, not knowing what you're going against, the Solemn Brigade is pretty good to have on hand. Depending upon your matchup, and depending if you're going into time, you take them out, you replace them with other things. It's simple as that. Just keep track of your clock. Keep track of the clock and what the time's going. If you're going against Trick Stars, you take this stuff out. You know what I'm trying to say here. Be smart. So let's go into the extra deck now. So we got my 2 Link field spell cards. My, I call them, my Dark Magician and my Blue Angel. Next up, we got for our Link monsters, we have Sauja Skuldread, we have Borlo Dragon, and Firewall Dragon. Pretty good. I'm trying this out in the deck. You could run Decode Talker instead, but I'm trying it out, which is Topological Trisbana. I'm just testing it out in the deck. You can run Decode Talker instead if you feel that is better. Up to you. We are also running Griffin, Nightmare Griffin, excuse me. Nightmare Unicorn, so pretty much we're running the Nightmare package. Your Nightmare Goblin, your Nightmare Phoenix, your Nightmare Cerberus, and your Nightmare Mermail, which I am running in this build of the deck. We are also running for your Link 2s. We are running Proxy Dragon and Underclock Taker. For your level 1s, I'm running a bunch because you can go off and do stupid stuff with it still. 1 Link Karibo and 2 Link Spider, which you can use to go off with your tokens because they're considered normal monsters, so you can go into Link Spider and do stuff. So it's just pretty much a vanilla Link monster that can link up into bigger things. And the 1 Link Karibo is kind of nice to have as well. And we also have our Link tokens, I call them. My waifu Link tokens. Don't judge me. But yes, that is the deck profile, guys, in a nutshell. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. The deck is pretty fun to play. Honestly, I've enjoyed thoroughly playing it. Takes a little bit of, it's not amazing as Brandish, and Vampires are good in their own way, but it's still a good, decent deck to play around with and have fun with. And like I said, I feel that the for hire community, quote unquote, people that are playing this deck, we're still trying to figure out the perfect build. This is what I've played from playtesting since the deck came out. I picked it up. It was super cheap. I've been playing it ever since. I played it even previously online before that. And I find that this deck is working good this way. There are different little cards you could take out of the deck and replace them with other cards. Like I was saying earlier. And depending upon your side deck, you can side deck things easily in and out of this deck. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy this deck profile. And until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling. I hope this deck profile helped you out. go for hires and go pirates in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm happy we have them. I don't care if they're freaking animals. I'm happy we have a pirate archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! Till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I'll see you guys next time.